As I showed in my last video, there is a number of problems, conditions, symptoms that people have when they are doing the carnivore diet.
How can I stop the shit mouth? Could it be me feasting too hard and cramming a lot in a little time? There's actually a thing called disaster pants.
And where I was trying to tweak this diet to find solutions. And here is my next idea with some input from Dr. Gundry, who you may have seen on all over PBS. I'll be showing a clip of him mentioning the carnivore diet. It's the only time I heard him mention it. He doesn't promote that diet. I think he promotes a plant-based diet, even though he's always focusing on the danger of lectins. So, my latest solution I present here in this video, it is the 1 meal a week diet. And listen to the description of this diet before you put it down. It's not as crazy as it seems. But first, let's hear this clip from Dr. Gundry.
I've asked some of my patients to let us get a insulin-like growth factor, a baseline, where they are, where they kind of run, and then to dramatically limit animal protein. And I haven't written the paper yet because I don't think I have enough data, but invariably, their insulin-like growth factors fall as much as 50 points from their baseline. Just this morning, I saw a woman who's 70 years old who I asked her purposely for the next test to diminish her animal protein, and her insulin-like growth factor fell 30 points. She was impressed. I was impressed. Does that make a paper? No, that's an anecdote. But I think there's something here.
Was she integrating periods of fasting, and was she using additional glycine?
Great question. She skips breakfast and had before. It almost means you're restricting calories. That I will say that you can get away with a higher protein diet simply because compared to a normal human being. On the other hand, in my practice, most people are not going to do that. They will tell me, I have a life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going out for dinner. I'm going to socialize with friends. And come on, let's be serious here.
No, compliance is an issue.
Yeah, we've had the occasion of interviewing guests who are doing the carnivore diet. But that carnivore diet is a ketogenic carnivore diet with intermittent fasting, with periods of true fasting and supplementation, nose to tail eating. And so we'll see.
High protein increases your insulin-like growth hormone. If you have too much of that, that could be a bad thing. It can develop tumors, cancer, probably many other problems, and can decrease your lifespan. So if you can't be a vegan for some reason, then you're going to have to find other ways to cut back on protein, especially animal protein. And then there's the fact that a high amount of protein can keep you out of ketosis, for those that are interested in that, which is a lot of carnivore dieters. To me, that just says that they're doing it wrong, or they're doing something bad if you have to use ketosis. Well, there's two ways of doing the carnivore diet. That's high protein, which Joe Rogan does. If you want to keep your protein low, then you have to increase your fat and eat isolated fat. And we've seen the problems with those in my last two videos. And if you haven't seen those, you should do that next because they're really good.
I've literally had coffee with MCT oil, a salad with chicken and egg and walnuts and blue cheese, and a large herbal tea with MCT oil. My colorful word for poo is water. Please advise.
So both ways are not good, but there's one way of keeping your protein down and your isolated fat down, which brings us to the 1 meal a week diet. Now here are the details. The description of a meal here in this diet is when you eat whole foods, a lot of calories, fat and protein, but 1 meal a week doesn't mean you have to fast for the other 6 days. You just shouldn't eat meals. This diet just reduces the amount of meals you're eating, the amount of protein and fat. Just like breatharians, you can snack, and like ours, I recommend fruit. It's low in lectins. This just seems better than the other ways of eating. Does anybody see a problem with this? This seems to be the solution to all of your carnivore symptoms. Less carnivore meals means less nausea and less chance for food poisoning. I know a lot of carnivores like to fast. If you do choose to fast for 6 days a week, you should be supervised and use a trusted Carnivore Fasting Center if you can afford the high prices. If you don't want to do that, you can snack during the fasting period. Snacks don't count because they're not meals. More insanity news, which involves more on Joe Rogan.
Florida should have been called at 8:30. The networks, including Fox, they refused to call it.
It's total BS. All the every Biden state, call it a...
Says two conservatives who are big supporters of Donald Trump. Well, listen to this conservative ranting about why Pennsylvania wasn't called for Joe Biden for 3 days.
Even with the military ballots, by mail, they broke like 4-1 to Joe Biden. There are no excuses for not calling the state of Pennsylvania. But we can't have one rule based on how you're going to call something early on Tuesday night and another rule 3 days later because you're scared Donald Trump is going to be angry with
Joe,
you.
No
data supports this.
The way certain states set up the way they count the ballots. And that was brought to you by the Republican Party.
All the everybody...
Now we're seeing the Arizona, if you're going to be quick on the trigger, then be quick on the trigger for both sides.
Well, too much bullshit and hypocrisy here. Fox News happened to be right about Arizona when they called it early for Biden.
It's inconsistent. It's unacceptable. Fox should rescind that call. I mean, we've got to do this in a right way. I thought it was really poor how it was done. Florida, Sean, we didn't even need the panhandle to come in. The president was...
Troubling. You know what? This is the United States of America. I think we're capable, if we really want to fix this, we can get this right. We should learn a thing or two. When we come back, Dan Bongino, Ari Fleischer, they're next, straight ahead.
Do you know how it feels to live with schizophrenia?
I'm hearing the most awful things. People shouting at me.
Exactly.
Donald Trump.
It's okay. When you live with schizophrenia like us, it can feel like you're living in a different world. You should definitely talk to your doctor.
The doctor is also going to have to deduce whether your delusions are a chemical imbalance or from watching too much Fox News. Your doctor may prescribe an alternative news source. I hope that the medical profession is up to date on 3 new drugs that have popped up on cable. New channels that are crazy conservative clown shows.
Donald Trump thought he was going to lose those states, and he needed time to mount the sort of legal challenges he's mounting right now. This was all calculated by Donald Trump and Republican state legislatures. He's frozen every network, scared to state what we all know is true.
This didn't have to be this way. Like the freaking coronavirus pandemic. These votes could have been good to go on election day. Look to your Republican Party and to your president as to why.
Obama's a terrorist. Don't you know that? He wasn't born in America.
You can Google it.
I do not want a black man running my country.
This is real.
By the way, for even funnier reactions to Trump losing, see my video from a few weeks back. Funny reactions to Trump losing.
Do you know how it feels to live with schizophrenia?
This is real. It is not made up.
Are you okay? I feel like everyone's out to get me.
Well, I believe they're going to treat us to a little song.
Donald Trump
is like Augustus Gloop, the great bakery nincompoop.
I have the right to defend that.
Augustus Gloop, so big and vile, so greedy, foul, and infantile. Come on, we cry, the time is right to send him shooting up the pipe. But don't dare children the alarm.
Although, of course, we must admit
that Donald Trump
is going to take it from many sides.
There's nothing laughable here.